Hi, this is Kim Le from SOAR Immigration Legal Services, and this is the training for form preparers. I'd first like to start off by saying thank you for volunteering as a form preparer for SOAR's Citizenship Clinic. We're first going to talk about our clinic model so that everybody understands what part or what role they are doing in the clinic and what our clients have already gone through. First, each of our clients will have already attended a pre-screening appointment. These pre-screening appointments are essentially consultations with an immigration attorney or an accredited representative at SOAR Immigration Legal Services. We will frequently have pre-screening events at other locations such as libraries, or churches or other places as well, but it will usually always be SOAR staff that will be handling the pre-screening. If the individual is found to be eligible for citizenship by one of our attorneys or accredited representatives, that individual will then be scheduled for a form filling appointment. The idea is for the individual to have some time to gather the information that they need in order to complete the forms. This may include information about their children, about their residential history, their employment history, particularly in the last 5 years. After gathering the necessary documents and information, clients will attend a form filling appointment, and that's where you'll come in. After preparing the forms with you, however, these clients will then meet with another immigration attorney to complete legal review. At this point, the clients will be able to have an attorney review all of the documents that they've provided that perhaps wasn't available to their pre-screener, and also review their travel, criminal, and immigration history in detail in case something was missed in the pre-screening phase. After legal review, the immigration attorney will determine whether the forms are adequately completed and accurately reflect the client's immigration and criminal history, and determine whether it's advisable for the client to continue on applying for citizenship. If so, that immigration attorney would then recommend that the client proceed with the process where the client would meet with their SOAR attorney or accredited representative. That accredited representative or attorney will then submit what we call a G28 or an entry of appearance as legal representative for the case. And at that point, that representative will complete a final review with the client. While this process may seem a bit repetitive or time-consuming, it is absolutely essential in order for us to make sure that clients are actually eligible for the benefits that they are seeking, in this case, naturalization. As you can imagine, a pre-screening is generally a shorter appointment, usually about 30 minutes or so. But form filling, what you will be doing today, will usually take at least an hour to complete. This gives the individual more time to meet with and speak with the client, and perhaps the client would become more comfortable with the form filler that would then lead to helpful conversations regarding their history, and that may help the form preparer to glean additional information that was not available to the attorney or accredited representative at the pre-screening phase. It's also important to understand the steps because we don't want you as the form preparer to be overly concerned that you are the final step. If you have concerns as you're filling out the form, certainly seek assistance. However, know that there will be at least 2 more immigration attorneys or accredited representatives who will review the file before this application is submitted. Now on to some logistics regarding the citizenship clinic. First, it's important to point out that each client will have a citizenship clinic passport. The passport has important information that's helpful to all volunteers, but particularly form fillers. I've highlighted the sections that will apply to form preparers. First, we have the client's name. We also have their preferred name, as often that's not the same. Right underneath client name and preferred name, you'll see preferred language. This is how we'll match clients up with the form preparers. If a form preparer speaks Spanish, we will most likely send a Spanish-speaking client to that individual, or make sure to pair that client with an interpreter before sending the client to an English-speaking or an English-only speaking form preparer. Next, in the green, you will see the Citizenship Works account information highlighted in green. This information is necessary for you to be able to log on to the client's Citizenship Works account. We'll talk more about that later. The yellow highlight is the check-in number for the client at the form filling phase of this process. Instead of referring to clients by their name, we will often call their check-in numbers. These correspond to orange check-in numbers that the clients will be physically holding. This helps to protect the client's confidentiality. And so we will say, for example, number 3, we are ready for form filling. And if the client has that number 3 placard, we would be able to match up the file with the client. Finally, in the red highlight, you will see where it says N400 prepared, and then there is a column for completed by as well as notes. This is where you, the form preparer, will sign once you've completed the N400 application. This helps us because we can track if a particular form preparer is making similar errors among the different applications. We can contact you and let you know, hey, this was filled out incorrectly, and hopefully be able to correct it for future clients that you would meet with. But it also helps us in case we need to go back and ask any questions or clarifications of the form preparer. So it's really important that you complete that section. Now, on to completing the actual N400 form. Unlike many law offices that will use form filling software to plug in clients' information and generate the N400 form, we don't have that luxury to have LawLogix or other databases. So instead, we use Citizenship Works. Now, Citizenship Works has several platforms. The platform from the client's perspective, and then the one from the advocate's perspective. We will use both during the process of this clinic. You will first start off from the client side, because the client side is generally friendlier, a little bit easier to use, and most importantly, more easily edited. So if a client says, oh, I just remembered I also have this additional job or this additional workplace, it will be much easier to add it from the client's Citizenship Works account instead of the advocate's. But there are limitations to the client Citizenship Works account. And so when we switch over to the advocate's Citizenship Works account, it will allow for manual changes if there's something that requires additional explanation. Finally, we will review and print the forms. Let's take a look at how we can do this. First, we will need you to log onto the client Citizenship Works account. Again, I want to remind you that on the Citizenship Clinic Passport, the client's Citizenship Works account information is on the passport. So here you'll see I zoomed in and highlighted it yellow. After logging into the client citizenship account, you will see the client's portal. The client's portal will show the client's name up above. Here we had a sample account, so the account is called Samples or Legal. But it'll also tell you what percentage of the application is completed. Now, your client may have 5% complete, or the client may have 99% complete. depending on how much the client pre-filled out using their own client portal. You will use this portal in order to answer all of these questions. So information about the client's spouse, the client's parents. So help the client fill out the information from the client's portal first. Once a section is completed, this red asterisk will then turn into a green check mark. And you'll see correspondingly that above the percentage of the application that is complete will also increase. Once you've gotten to 99% or 100% or as close as you can to the application being complete, you can log out of the client's account and log on to the advocate's account. You can obtain the information to log into your client account by looking at your volunteer checklist. In the first section where it says check in, you will have information about your login and the password assigned. Here I blacked out the password, but you'll each have your own password for the account that you're using for the day. Upon logging in, you'll see a portal similar to the client's portal. However, in the corner here, you'll see it will say logged in as, for example, SOAR Legal Clinic 4, or in this case, this is my name because this is my advocate account. You'll be able to search for your client under open cases or open clients, or you can click on this client blue button above. Once you type in the name will pop up, and you can click on the name to get to this main page. The page will tell you the percentage that the application was complete. So if you left the application off 98% complete, but when you log on, you see it says only 5% complete, you'll know something is wrong, or that you're in the wrong client or profile. From this page, you're going to want to click on this N400 form right here. The form will prompt you. The Citizenship Works will ask you if you're sure you want to edit the form manually, and you're going to want to acknowledge that you are willing to make manual changes. The reason why this warning pops up is to prevent individuals from making edits accidentally. Switching to manual edits within the advocate account will lock out the client from being able to make changes on the client's account. That's why this is particularly important for you to fill out as much as you can on the client's account prior to switching over to the advocate's account and making edits. Once you've agreed to make the edits manually, you'll see above there's an option or a button that says Save Changes, as well as to generate the N400. And throughout this is the image that you'll see. Each page will display singularly, so you can't scroll down past page 1. You will have to use this toggle button on the left side in order to switch from page to page. You can then make manual edits to the information on these pages. So if something didn't quite fit right or wasn't best explained under the client portal, you can log in using the advocate portal and make those manual changes. If for some reason an addendum is needed, you'll see these, it looks like a clipboard, like a green or a gray clipboard on the side. A green clipboard indicates that there was some sort of information that was placed on the addendum. Perhaps the individual had too many children, and so it didn't all fit on the form, and the form generated an addendum to include the additional children that the client had. But perhaps you filled in some information and made a note to yourself that additional explanation is needed. For example, if this client's A number on his or her green card is this number, but you notice that there are other documents where there's another A number, perhaps we would then click on this clipboard and state, I also have an additional alien number, which is A, B, C, D, whatever the number is, and that number has been consolidated, or provide whatever explanation is appropriate. Now, once you've made all the changes necessary, make sure that you also hit Save Changes before proceeding to print or generate the N400. You can hit the Save Change button after every page if you wish, but generally the software will save your changes as you go. I just recommend making another save change or clicking Save Change again right before printing. Now, when you print, you will want to make sure that this box right here that I'm circling, the do not file mode, is off. If the do not file mode is on, when you click generate N400, a PDF will pop up with all of the information, all pages of the N400 and the addendum, but there will be a watermark in the back that says draft do not file. So you are going to want to switch this to do not file mode off, then generate the N400 so that a new PDF pops up on a different tab. You will want to print the complete application and review it. If additional changes need to be made, you can go ahead and make those changes again, hit Save Changes, and generate another N400. As you go, each time that you hit Save Changes, it will save it to the Citizenship Works portal for that client profile, and you'll still be able to generate as many N400s as needed each time those changes are made. Logistically, if you need help, you will there will be a placard on your desk, and on each side it both says for example A, and on one side it'll be green and on the other side it'll be red, or like this hot pink. If you need any help at all, whether it's I need help because I'm done with this client and I need another client, put it on red. If it's an issue of, I have this question, I want to continue filling out the form, but I do have a question and I need to check in with somebody, turn it red. There will be one of the SOAR staff kind of floating to make sure that everything is going well. And if we see a red placard, we will come up and say, great, what can I help with? Is there an issue? Do you need anything? If we see green, we are going to assume that everything is going well and we won't interrupt you. Make sure that you take lunches and breaks. It's very, very important for you to keep yourself energized. And as many clients as we have, we want to make sure that our volunteers are not too tired or fatigued to be able to focus on the documents and helping the client in front of you. So make sure to take care of yourself as well. Lastly, I want to cover the FAQs. Now, we will be passing out volunteer checklists that look very similar to this one. So it will say forms preparation, volunteer information. It'll have your check-in information, a schedule, but it will also go through this process in detail. Pay special attention to these parts in bold, as it will give you additional instructions to make sure that the right radio buttons are clicked properly. And this is something that you would have to do under the advocate account. Don't just assume that because your application was filled out to 100% on the client account that it's sufficient, that you don't need to do anything on the advocate account. There are always steps on the advocate account side that will need to be completed. Note that at the end of this document, there are frequently asked questions. Now, the frequently asked questions may change from clinic to clinic depending on the clients that we're serving and the types of FAQs that we expect to happen or the FAQs that we expect to receive. However, this is a great place to start if you have questions about, missing information. What happens if my client's unable to remember specific dates or addresses? And we provide the answer right there. Of course, don't hesitate also to just simply turn your placard red, and we'll stop by and help you answer those questions as well. Now, we understand this is a lot of information. So again, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. But we do want to let you know how much we appreciate you. And we want to thank you for volunteering with SOAR Please know that we value your time and your assistance very much, and that all of our clients are also very appreciative of your time and efforts.